We'll be hosting Paul to give us a lot of information about Liverpool Hope University. We'll be discussing why you should choose Liverpool Hope University. We're going to look at everything from students' life at Liverpool Hope University to their unique courses that they have that you can apply for. Maybe you are confused about what courses you can choose. There are new courses that are coming up each and every day, especially with AI coming into the picture. So Paul is going to help us with a lot of information on that. And then we are also going to look at scholarship information. I know a lot of people are very interested in the scholarship aspect of the program. Yeah. So Paul, get ready because the questions that I have on scholarship, it will amaze you. It will amaze you. So as the presentation is going on, if Paul says anything, if you have any question you want to add, you can just drop it in the chat and then I'll read that question to Paul to answer. Are we okay? All right. So, Paul, I know that ideally when you start, you will do a presentation, you open your slides, you show us everything that you want to show us from your universities. But for today, we are not going to do presentation per se. We are going to do more of, question and answers because I want us to address almost all the questions and answers that the students have. You understand? Because most often when the presentations are done, students don't get enough time to, ask a lot of questions about the university, and they have a lot of questions. As I'm talking to you, I have about 4 sheets here from student questions that have been sampled from the registration alone. So,
Okay. Okay.
so, so there's no time for presentation today. But Paul, just quickly tell us about yourself, your role at Liverpool Hope University. What exactly
Yeah.
goes into being the Senior International Recruitment Officer for Liverpool Hope University?
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your time for joining today. And thank you, Joseph, and your team for this invitation. I'm also honored and privileged to be here to join this session just to educate ourselves and provide quite a lot of information that is needed to help anyone interested to study in the UK. I'll quickly give a brief intro of myself and maybe the uni, but also let me mention that today I'm not here alone. So my name, like as I was mentioned, Paul. I'm into recruitment at Liverpool Hope. And today on this session, I've got two current students at Liverpool Hope University. They are master
Excellent.
students, Helen and Rahel, who are studying with us. So not long ago, they were also maybe in a similar situation like many of you are on this platform. I remember I met both of them in Accra. We had discussions like this. They've been with us in Liverpool since September last year till now. So today, both of us are here with us just to also add their voice in terms of the student side of things. So, Helen, Rahel, thank you very much for also honoring this invite. I believe you would also come in and help in terms of answers to the student side of things, which I believe will be very, very helpful for these people. Just in summary for myself, I'm Ghanaian originally anyway, so I've also gone through this whole process. I studied in Ghana at the University of Cape Coast for my first degree. I did my master's at the University of Manchester in the UK, and I've been working in the UK since 2015. I'm currently being a senior international officer at Hope. I started working in a similar private company like Joseph, what you mentioned about three. After 5 years, I went to work in the University of Bolton, and then 3 years ago, I joined Hope. My main work, I have remit over recruitment for the whole of Africa, as well as Middle East as well. So anything that needs to be done or that people need to know, right from your interest to coming to study in the UK, to the university programs, to how you prepare yourself, admissions, visas, all those sort of advice. I handle for Africa and the Middle East. So Ghana is one of the main markets that I do cover. And I've been through the process myself. Initially, I came to the UK as a student. And so I can also share not just the professional side of things, but also through their personal journeys. But just that mine is over 10 years ago. So things have changed quite a lot between then and now. And that is why I've brought in Helen and Rahel, whose experiences are more recent, who are currently students, and then they would also add their voice. So maybe in a minute, we can also maybe let Helen and Rahel introduce themselves, and then we can go straight to the questions.
Sure.
So maybe starting with Helen.
Hi everyone, my name is Helen and I'm currently studying Masters in Disability Studies. Nice to meet you all.
Thank
Nice to
you,
meet
Rahel.
you.
Hi everyone, good evening once again. I'm Rahel, as mentioned earlier on, and I'm a student here in Hope, and then I'm studying Social Policy Master in Arts. Thank you.
Thank you, Raya. Excellent. All right. So, Paul, thank you for the introduction and also for introducing your colleagues that are on the webinar with you. So, we want to find out where is Liverpool Hope University located? Is it in Liverpool because of the name Liverpool, or is just Liverpool attack to hope? I mean,
Okay.
help us look.
Amazing. That's a good question, and I will give you a scenario why sometimes some of these things are key. So
Yeah.
just to answer directly, Liverpool Hope University is in the city of Liverpool in the UK.
Okay.
So within the city, there are three main universities: University of Liverpool, Liverpool John Moores University, and that's Liverpool Hope University. Liverpool is in the northwest of England. So I believe people may be a bit familiar with some other cities in the UK like London, Manchester, and Birmingham. So Liverpool is in the northwest, very close to Manchester. So for instance, I do live in Manchester and work in Liverpool. On the train is only 45 minutes away, just about 1 hour and 30 minutes to Birmingham, and 1 hour or 2 hours and 12 minutes to London. So it's in the city of Liverpool. And why I said it's important is because we seen in the past one student who got a visa refusal from the UKVI. And one of the reasons for the refusal was that when he was asked about his university location, he said it was in London. And when we had to go deeper, what we realized that he had once seen Liverpool Street in London. So he thought that it was in London, whereas it's like you saying like Kumasi Road in Accra and you're thinking Kumasi is in Accra. So yes, I mean, some of these little things could make a difference, particularly when it comes to visa applications. So thank you for asking, and please let all note that it's in Liverpool, the northwest of England.
Excellent, Paul. So one of the questions we received was that is Liverpool Hope a private or a public university?
Good. So Liverpool Hope University is a public university.
Okay.
I want to mention here that in the UK, over 90% of the universities that we have here are all public or government universities. There are only a few universities that are private. And I believe, Joseph, you may be able to provide information like Uni of Law, BPP, and some of those other institutions. So it is a public or government-owned university in the UK.
Excellent. So those who ask the question whether Liverpool Hope University is a public or a private, I think students want to always apply to public universities because they feel they get more opportunities there. The tuition fees are much lower in the public university. So those who ask those questions, I've asked that question for you, and it has been answered. So it's a public university in the UK. So we want to quickly go and look at what the student life is at Liverpool Hope University, especially international students. So we want to look, what does a typical day look like for international students at Liverpool Hope University? Maybe Ellen and Paul, is it Rahel or Rachel?
Yeah, Rahel.
Rahel can help with that. Says
Yes,
they
well,
are on
yeah, I'll
campus.
leave that for them to tell you. So maybe I'll start with Rahel. On a good day, what does your day look like? And maybe Ellen can also add her own.
Hi, thank you so much for the question. That's a good question. So, on a normal day, my day is just regular because of the program and then because of how flexible it is. I don't get to rush so much to lecture like any other because I'm studying. I study like my timetable is very flexible, so that all my activities are scheduled in the day. So maybe on Wednesdays, I have a full day from morning to evening. Then I get the other days to do other things like learning, reading, and all that. So a normal day is very flexible. It's not so much in a rush and all that. And it's lovely. Yeah, apart from the weather that's killing me. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. All right, all right. Thank
Helen.
you.
Okay, camera. Um, okay, a normal day for me is normal, like any normal university student's day. I have classes in the evening, so I usually join the shuttle very early. I go to campus very early, even though I don't have lectures very early. And because the library facilities are very good, I go and stay in the library. And one good thing too is that even though I don't live in the campus, I have my lectures. There are free buses that are available rotating around the campuses, so you can get on the bus at any time and then get to the main campus where I have my lectures. So it's actually a very normal day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ellen. So, talking about your life on campus, I know you are not from the UK, but you came from, Ghana. There are students who come in from Nigeria, all over the world. So, for students from the likes of West Africa, when you arrive at Liverpool Hope University, what kind of support system do you receive from the university to help you transition, from where you came from to settle in into the university system?
Um, I don't know if I should go first, but I think the support system in Liverpool Hope University is very great. The reason why I said that because like Paul mentioned earlier, I met Paul in Accra and I took like contact details of already students who are already on campus and I
Mhm.
reach out to them. So even when I was there, I got to meet someone who gave me a list of things that I need, like clothing, the things you buy, because there are some things that you don't actually need. And while shopping, you may think that you need them, but I got someone, the contact of someone through Paul to actually list the things like you need like a jacket, you need like socks, you need like the things that I actually need. So from there, coming, even getting on the plane, how to navigate my way around the whole even at the airport, coming at the train, how to get a bus. And the person was very, very, very supportive. She taught me how to even use the map because I mean we are in Ghana and then because of our settlement plan, the maps don't even work. But I had to learn how to use the map and and it was something that someone who Paul introduced to me helped me with. And aside that, I think that is it. Unless maybe there's a follow-up question
Great, great,
or
great.
Rahel.
Brian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, sorry. I thought I was unmuted. No, no, I was muted. So, like Helen said, the support system here is very, very great. For me, I really had a terrible experience. I mean, every prospective student should be very grateful for this webinar because I didn't get a chance to have this elaborative webinar after meeting Paul. So I came here um, through the back and forth and everything, I got to Liverpool and I didn't even have a SIM card. So I didn't know what to do. There was nothing, because over here, once you don't have a SIM card, you don't get Wi-Fi, you don't get anything. So I was just gallivanting on the streets. I didn't even know anywhere, nobody. Everyone moves so fast. Like over here, things really run super fast.
Yeah.
And then, the language and everything, they speak so fast. But then people came to my aid and assisted me. However, when I got to campus, that's Hope Campus, I got assistance from the Global Center, that's International Center, where international students get some form of assistance. So over there, I got the same. I got a chance to register, connected to the internet. So the support system, in fact, I can go on and on, because there's a lot to say. But the support system over here is super great. And because we are just a few, they take their time when they're handling people. Yeah. So that's all I can say about the support system. Thank you.
All right. Okay. That's excellent. I think Hope is doing a good job to support international students who are coming in. All right. Paul, so let's talk about courses at Liverpool Hope University. In terms of courses from undergraduate to postgraduate programs, I know there are a lot of programs that you offer, but I want us to discuss what programs are popular among students from West Africa.
Okay, thanks for that. There are quite a number. It's a good area that we do get a lot of interest. So in terms of the undergraduate programs, we have the computer science generally, we have AI, we have IT, we have software engineering, and also robotics. And then if you come to the master's side, we do have advanced computer science, we do have data science, and we do have robotics engineering. So in terms of the computing area, these are the main courses that we see a lot of traction from the region. Business-wise, for undergraduates, we do have business management, we do have marketing, we do have economics as well. So those are the main business area undergraduate side. When it comes to masters, we run the MBA program, we have international business management, we have international project management, and then also we do have business sustainability. So for the business school, these are also subjects that people look at. Education-wise, we do have early childhood with QTS undergraduate-wise, which we do see a lot of people interested, particularly those that want to teach or train in the UK to be teachers. So on the undergraduate side, you see early years education with the qualified teaching status. And then on the master's side, we do have the PGCE. So the PGCE is the postgraduate certificate in education. But again, that comes with the qualified teaching status. And we have also seen a lot of interest for people already teachers in Ghana, but then they have plans to be trained to teach across the world in the UK, in the US, or even we've seen a lot of teachers trained in the UK now going to the Middle East or Southeast Asia, because there are a lot of opportunities there in international schools that is attracting people who have been trained in the UK. We also have social work. And so again, we do have the bachelor's and the master's in social work. And these are professional programs, which again, completing either the bachelor's course, which is 3 years, or the master's, which is 2 years, comes along with the professional qualification of being a social worker in the UK. And we see also a lot of people going for that. The last one I can mention is public health, which we started, I think, 2 years ago at the master's level. And again, we have seen quite a lot of interest in those areas. So if I'm to sum it up, these are the course areas that we get majority of Ghanaian applications from: computing related, business, education, social work, and then public health.
Right. But are there any unique courses you want to mention aside the ones that you've mentioned that are popular among African students? What unique courses do you think you can highlight, or the university is putting together that maybe you want students to take notice of and maybe probably consider as options when they want to come to Liverpool Hope University?
I mean, most of the questions we do get is in relation to employability and careers, because
Mhm.
now I think people are more concerned about returns on investment and
Yeah,
not just going to study or coming here to study for studying sake. And I do agree, because coming to the UK to study is quite an expensive adventure, if you compare to the cost of studying in Ghana, to be
yeah,
honest. And also, even if you put aside the cost, the time taken, and sometimes, I mean, Ryle mentioned about the experience of weather and all that. Being here for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in the cold, and at the end of the day, coming out with something that is not relevant or that doesn't help your future is quite something that you need to really think of. So, what I want to mention is, I mean, for the programs that we are running, we want to make sure that they are kind of industry sort of relevant. So, at the end of the day, whether you're returning to Ghana or in the UK or wherever you go, at least you get the skills and the knowledge that will be relevant for the industry. So, for instance, I talked about the PGCE. And like I said, not just even for UK. I've seen colleagues and people I know personally in the UK who have gone now to countries like Thailand, to Hong Kong, to UAE, like Dubai in particular, and they are really on good salaries as teachers, sometimes teaching English, some of them teaching maths. So sometimes people are thinking now that, with the news and things going around in terms of staying in the UK and all these destinations are open who are looking for British trained teachers, for instance. And those are places that sometimes they even have opportunities to attract people with free accommodation, paid healthcare, and all that. So, in terms of sort of programs that are relevant, the teaching qualification is one that I can mention. Then I also talked about the social work, which again is really key, because again, you want to get a qualification status for jobs that are of demand. I know, for instance, social workers are not of huge demand, let's say in Ghana. But if you come to the advanced countries, for instance, UK, US, Japan, Korea, these countries that have aging population, that have a lot of policies to take care of the vulnerable and the weak, these are sort of subjects and career areas where there are a lot of opportunities that are well paying, that people also thinking and looking into their future could also look into. There are a number of courses that we are also designing. I already mentioned the public health one, which is a recent one that came in. And we are also even thinking of running a master's in artificial intelligence. So we've been running robotics for about 8 to 10 years now. But with AI coming in, we already have a bachelor's in AI, but we want to introduce a master's in AI. So then at least people looking into that industry again, I mean, software engineers, artificial intelligence, machine learning professionals in the UK are of very, really good or high demand. So these are subjects that really we want to highlight, but it doesn't suggest that everybody studies these things. There
yeah,
are other subjects that people are really doing quite well, which definitely also have their own prospects and opportunities. So what I want to add is start with one, your passion and your interest, and also identifying where the unique opportunities are that you can tap into. Because if you don't also have the background and the skills for some of these subjects, you may get an offer, all right, but in the end, you might realize that it's not for you. So, what I would say
yeah,
is, especially for you guys who are yet to be here, take time to really know yourself, see where your interest and the opportunities lie, which are unique that you want to explore. And maybe to add on, I would always say and suggest that you don't come here to the UK to study just for studying sake or just for the immigration sort of purpose. Because sometimes people just want to travel. And yes, it's good. Traveling is good. having this opportunity is good. But I believe some of us have also seen online social media recently with people regretting that they've come abroad and now they are returning back home and all those things. So when you listen to those people, one thing that stands out is, were they aware? Did they really do their own research? Did they really understand what they were coming into before they make the journey? And for many of them, the answer will be no. So you not making the move yet, take time to really research and study and know the opportunities before you really make it. So that is the little I would want to add on that point.
All right. Well, thank you for that elaborate answer. So I have a question here from a student who is asking about the requirements for the PGCE with the QTS for those already teaching in Ghana. So the person wants to know what are the requirements, and by extension, I want you to touch on what the general requirements are for undergraduate programs and then also for master's programs. So in answering that question, maybe you can just extend it to cover what are the entry requirements, basic entry requirements for undergraduate programs, and then also for the postgraduate programs. Yeah, thank you.
That is fine, no worries. Thank you, Joseph, and thank you for the question. So starting with our foundation program, and then I will end on this PGC specific. So we do have international foundation program at the moment, which we've just started this year, January. That takes students who have just completed the WASI qualification. So long as you've done the WASI, you had at least 5 subjects that your grades were D or better. So you're looking at A1 to D or C6 or better. You will be able to come into the the foundation program, which is a joint foundation with a bachelor's degree. So they get a joint CAS or joint visa for a full 4 years bachelor's degree. So that is only WAEC, and then you need an English proficiency qualification like IELTS, where you need an overall score of 5.5 with 5.5 minimum. For foundation, that is foundation year. First year, anything above WAEC. So we sometimes would have people who have done, let's say, A-levels, or you've done IB, or you've gone to do HND, or even any certificate from the polytechnic or technical universities. You can use that to skip the foundation year and come to the undergraduate program direct for 3 years or 2 years. For those of you who already have a bachelor's degree and you want to do a master's, for all our master's program, you need a minimum of a lower second class degree from your bachelor's degree from Ghana to be eligible for master's admission. Aside the certificate, generally we'll ask for a transcript. You would also need your passport. You will need your personal statement or statement of purpose, just explaining the motivation for the course that you want to study. What I also want to add here is that many a times our admissions team would want to see that your background studies, i.e. your high school or your bachelor's degree or HND, is a bit relevant to the course that you are applying for. So ideally, if you're applying for a business master's, they want to see that you've had some background in business-related studies. Many a time that works, sometimes it doesn't work. But if you don't have, make sure you show evidence of why you are interested in this sort of new subject. So then it's not seen as if you are applying for a program that you are not qualified for, or that you don't have the relevant background to be able to study. We would also need an English proficiency qualification. So at the moment, we're taking WAEC or WASI. We're still working around the duration. But I would say once you did it within the last 10 years, 7 to 10 years, and then you also had a grade A1 to C6 in English, we are able to accept that. We're pushing on for the 10 years proposal to be accepted. So as we speak, 7 years is the ceiling, but if you have anything or more, just speak to Joseph and the team. We can work around with options and let you know how you can get through. And finally, for the PGCE, is the similar bachelor's requirements that you need. So a degree, transcript, reference. References are not mandatory anyway at the moment, but if you do have them, it's advisable you add to your application. But definitely we need your certificate, your transcript, your personal statement, your passport, and the English proficiency. Then for PGCE, if you're already a professional teacher, that you have your professional status from Ghana, add that to your document. And then finally, you know, especially those who want to teach or who are teaching at the secondary level, the expectation is that in your bachelor's degree, at least 50% of your program should have been in the subject area that you want to have the PGCE on. So let's say you want to come for the PGCE in physics or maths or business or geography. 50% of your degree should have been in maths, geography, physics, or business. So then they know, because in the end, you are being trained to go and teach a subject. So if you don't have this background in the subject, then how would you teach in that place? So particularly for secondary schools, that is the extra sort of requirement, that your degree should have been in the subject that you want to have your training on. Joe, I think you're on mute.
Please forgive me. I just keep reading the questions from the students. I've forgotten that. Okay, so there's a question about whether you have MPhil in nursing. I didn't hear you mention nursing when you were mentioning the categories of the courses. Even though I think one of your colleagues mentioned she's doing a master's in disability studies. So in terms of the health-related courses, what programs are available? Do you do nursing? And if you do, are there any special requirements for the students before they can come onto that program?
Okay, thank you. So we don't have nursing at the moment, and that's why I didn't mention that.
Sure.
And so health related, we do have public health, master's program available. And then also I mentioned about the master's in social work. So that is also health related, that was available. Yes, Helen is doing the master's in disability studies, which is also a bit of health related. And we have physiotherapy masters, 2 years, which we've introduced at the moment. And we also do have sports medicine as a program. It doesn't qualify you as a medical doctor, but then it's more towards physios and people who work with athletes in terms of their strength and conditioning. So those are the health related programs that we run at the moment. And the requirements are similar to what I mentioned. So lower second class bachelor's degree, and then having a background in the subject areas qualify you for any of these.
Okay, so there's a question here. Someone is asking that if they get you mean that they don't need IELTS for them to apply for the PGCE?
That's a good question. So for those programs that are the professional sort of accreditation with them, at the moment, there's a bit of restrictions on that. So why that comes in is, you know, how, for instance, the PGC with QTS and then the masters with the masters for social work and maybe even physiotherapy. What happens is that the professional qualification that you get from the UK is built into that course. So what it means is that once you are on the program, by the time you complete, you get your professional qualification, and you don't have to take that as an extra sort of assessment or a course. For that reason, the professional bodies bring their requirements into the course. So if it is those that are just academic university courses, that is where we can give you IELTS exemption based on your WAEC result in the last 7 years. However, for those that come with professional accreditation, IELTS is mandatory, and not because it is the university requirement. It is the professional body's requirement that before they give you your professional accreditation, you need to meet that requirement. So for instance, for the Masters in Social Work, the IELTS requirement is IELTS 7 overall with a minimum, I think, of 6.5. And for PGCE, it is 6 overall. Yeah, so you need an overall IELTS score of 6 with a minimum of 6 in reading and writing, and then 5.5 in listening and speaking. So those are the IELTS grades that we need for these programs.
All right. So Seth, I think your question has been answered. I wanted to ask a follow-up question. Somebody just sent me a question asking that can students with HND apply for master's program?
Good one. So at the moment, where that's directly, no, we will need a bachelor's degree for you to apply for a master's program. However, we have a foundation or pathway provider that we work with, the ones who are running our foundation program. So they have what we call pre-master's programs, which can take HND or third class degrees to even go onto a master's. So what they do is that, the typical master's in the UK is just 1 year or 12 months. But then they will give you what they call extended masters. So instead of doing 12 months or 1 year, you get 18 months course. So say like kind of like a 6 months preparatory course to get you into that 1 year master's program. So you can do the pre-masters and then that can bring you onto the master's program. I think the duration for the pre-masters, like I said, is 6 months. And the fees is not expensive. It's just around, I think, £5,000 or £6,000. So instead of having just a 12-month visa for your masters, you have 18 months to 24 months to complete your masters if you have HND or third class degree.
All right. Okay. So I have two questions. For the person asking about they have a GPA of 2.1 degree in finance and want to pursue a master's in education. What kind of advice would you give such a person?
Okay, so it depends. So GPA 2.1, what is it equivalent in Ghana? Is it a third class? Is it a pass? Class. Okay, so if it's a third class, then the pre-masters become the option because the minimum for the direct masters is the lower second class. So if it's a third class, then the pre-masters. What I want to mention on the pre-masters is that we are rolling it out in terms of program areas. So at the moment, what is open is business and computing. And then gradually they'll roll it out to education and other subjects. So for instance, if the person, like he said, he did finance, if let's say he wants a pre-master's in a business related area, that is readily available, which they can apply and join this September. If they are looking at the education one, then I would have to check on. So maybe Joe, you can pick the details. We need to check with the provider. Then as and when they have a route going through education masters, then we can connect with this person to submit the application.
Right. So I think I'm getting a lot of questions on students who want to convert from other backgrounds or disciplines to education. So I just want someone said, okay, I have I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. Can I do a master's in education?
I would say if you've gone on to teach, then you stand a good chance. Yes, but again, I mean, in those instances, it's not always a direct no. So let me put it this way. If you go straight away and you apply without showing any relevance, you are likely to get a rejection from admissions because admissions stick to criteria that have been set that, okay, to give admission to this person, they need to tick A, B, C, D box. And let's say your background doesn't tick a box, you get a rejection. However, sometimes if we see your CV, we see your experience on top of the qualification, we can check with the school or the academics. And if they have, or they look through your personal statement CV, sometimes they might even do a Zoom or Teams interview quickly with you just to see your background and your interest. And if they see that you have what it takes to do well, they can add their note or voice and you may be able to get the admission, even though you didn't study in that background. So get in touch with Joe and the team. Let them gather your details. But I would say if you have any related experience, let's say going into teaching or doing anything that is related to the new course that you want to do, add all those details. Let's do those checks for you. So then quickly, once we get that tick, we can then help you with the application.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so mindful of time. Time is just flying. And the questions there are a lot of questions on scholarship. But before we come there, I want us to talk about PhDs. Do you have PhD programs? And if anybody wants to apply for PhD, what will be the requirements? How do they go about it?
Okay, good. Thank you. So we do have PhDs, just that they don't get advertised like you will see for the bachelors and masters. So you would see masters in this, bachelors in that. Hardly do you see universities listing all the PhD business, PhD that be. But in all the faculties and the area that we run our courses, we are PhD students. So in law, in business, in computing, in health, and in social care. What we would intend saying is that for anyone who is interested, number one, they need to have a research proposal. So ideally, I'm assuming they would have done a master's in addition to the bachelor's that they have. So in addition to their master's, we will need a research proposal. And then once they have the proposal, we want to ask them to at least have a look on our website to see the research area that we are working on, and then the profile of the academic or the professors who are in their faculties or schools. Because sometimes once you see their profiles and projects, you can guess or sense which area they are working in, that they can also be able to work with you. Once we have that, the application for PhD is quite straightforward. So Joe, you can help them. But usually they complete a short application form and they add a proposal or what we call expression of interest. And so once that is received, the school or academics will invite them for an interview. So they would have a brief session to discuss their interest, just for us to see whether indeed we can get a supervisor. And it's a project that we can work with them for 3 years. And once that is given the green light, the admission is quite straightforward. They will get the offer very quickly. So I would say yes, for all the subject areas, if you have anyone, quickly get the proposal. Let's get it through to the school. Once there's a green light, they will get the offer. And the interesting thing about PhD is that, for bachelors and masters, usually you have to start in January or September. But for PhD, sometimes they can have multiple intakes. So long as they have an agreement with the supervisor and they are able to indicate that, oh, I have availability. Some of them start in December, some of them start in March, some of them start in June. Ideally, it's good if they come in September or January, because you meet a bigger cohort and you'll be kind of get into the system. But it doesn't matter even if you come in the other intakes as well.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. So before we go to the scholarship bit, there's a question here. Someone says that if one already have a QTS, can he or she go ahead for a PGCE program?
I think yes. I've seen or I've heard this question before, and it's gone to our faculty at the moment, waiting for a decision. I think I once met a student in that situation from Nigeria. I don't know the outcome fully yet, but because I've seen that there is PGCE standalone, and there's also PGCE with QTS. So yeah, what it means is that the standalone one would just maybe be for people who really want to get the work experience and then the academic training, because the PGCE essentially at the moment is over 60% placement. And so it's more hands-on and not just classroom sort of based program. So so long as there is the standalone course, then I believe, yes, it will be for those who have the QTS already. But that is something I can pick up with again and follow up and give a direct answer to that. Yes. But again, Joe, if you can keep that contact and we can pick it up from here, we will be able to get a direct answer from the school on that.
Sure. I'll do that. Okay, so Paul, let's talk about scholarships now, because most of the questions are about scholarships. People are asking that if they have second class lower, can they get scholarships? People are asking that are they fully funded scholarships for international students? I mean, but what is the nature of your scholarship package at the University of Liverpool Hope University?
All right, thank you. Yeah, at the moment, what we do is, to be honest, if you compare Hope to quite a number of other UK universities, one of our key advantages is in terms of our costs. So our programs are very, very affordable because on the average, if you look at quite a number of UK universities now, currently tuition fee is in the region getting to 20,000 plus. But at the moment, for September 2026, our undergraduate programs are all costing £15,225. So every bachelor's, as well as even the foundation program, the tuition fee is £15,225. For the master's courses, it is between 16,500 to 17,500. And so master's 16,500 to 17,500. Now, for the undergraduate and then also the foundation, for anyone who gets an offer, they get £2,000 automatically discounted. So instead of 15,225, they end up paying £13,225. For the masters, if the fees is 16,500, again, everyone with a lower second class minimum gets the £2,000 discount. So again, the net fees is 14,500. And then for those courses that are £17,500, the discount is £2,500. And that is applicable to everybody. And so again, the net fees there become £15,000 for the master's program. For Ghanaian students in particular, we do have two scholarships. The Great Scholarship, which we are running in conjunction with the British Council. It gives £10,000 tuition fee as a discount for every student or for one Ghanaian student for September this year. And so if you believe you are that one lucky person, the scholarship is still open until May. And so that is open. But in addition to, so once you get that, you get 10 student, full tuition paid and living expenses. That is the only fully funded scholarship we have. We have two scholarships every year. It's open to all students from the Commonwealth countries. September 2026 is already closed because it closed in December 2025. But then if maybe anyone is thinking of September 2027, then that will be available. This year we had it for masters in public health and then a master's in disability studies. So maybe I'll give a minute each. Helen won a great scholarship from Ghana. Oh, no, sorry. Helen won the Commonwealth scholarship. And then Rahel or Rachel won the great scholarship. So maybe a minute each if they want to mention what magic
Sure,
they did.
I'm sure a lot of people will want to hear from them how they did it. What tips they can give them as to how to go about the application.
Over to you, ladies. Yeah, whoever wants to start, maybe Helen, since you won the big amount.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So about the Commonwealth Scholarship, the application is solely online. So first of all, you've got to apply to the university as early as possible. I think that's the trick. And then next, the scholarship. And I think same applies to great scholarship as well, and any other scholarship you may think of applying to the university first and then the scholarship. And then there are various forms. There are a lot of forms that like you have to fill, a lot of essays that you have to write, and you have to be determined, because I mean you don't really know if what you are doing is working. You just be hopeful and putting in your best. And one thing that I think that is important is being honest and genuine, and not really just using AI to just write everything and put it there, but being genuine as well. Like yeah, I think that is very important, because that will make you stand out. A lot of people use AI and chat and other to put together their essays. If you want to use, you can use it wisely, but it's not the best decision to actually use AI, like dump it there. You may get rejections. And so your essay should be like unique, yeah, and they should be genuine as well. And I think with the Commonwealth Scholarship, you have to put in your certificates like you do for the application, the university application, filling in the form, adding your certificate, your transcript, your references, and yeah, it also requires that. So you need that as well. And volunteering. So your volunteering and leadership experiences are also important. I think that scholarship are given to students who are ready to make impact, and not like people who just want to pass through the system. So doing selection, they'll look for people who actually want to make impact. So your study plan, your impact plan is also very important. Yeah, unless, yeah, I think that is all I can say for now.
Okay,
Right.
Rahel.
Thank you. Is Raya with us? Sure she is.
I don't know, maybe she's gone yet. But yeah, I
Um,
think like maybe adding on like Helen has said, I mean it's especially for those of you looking for bigger amounts in terms of scholarships, the competition is as high as you can think of. And to just give you an example, for Commonwealth, usually we have 2 scholarships and we will not get less than 300 applications. So for 2 awards, we get 3 to 500 applications.
very
For
tight.
great scholarship for 1 award, can imagine everyone from Ghana wants it. And so you are one out of 200 or 300 or 400. And so be yourself. Why I wanted Helen and Rahel to speak through is that, yes, it is competitive. Yes, it is tough, but people like you have gotten it. So it is not impossible to get it, but just that note that it is very, very competitive. So it's not like it's just sitting down for you to take. But then also don't be scared. At least I know, for instance, I believe, Ellen, you may say this, but did you get it on your first attempt? How many times? When did you get it?
So in my case, it's my first time. I actually applied for
Wow.
this scholarship my first time. Unfortunately, I got it. But I actually have friends from other universities that applied like their third time, and that is when they got it, and the fourth time. So for me it's different. Rahel says she's unable to unmute, that's why she's not able to
Okay,
actually speak. So
All right.
that's fine. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Ellen, thank you so much for sharing this. To get it on your first attempt, that is wonderful. I think a lot of students will, if they could get your direct contacts, they will be they want to come to you for a lot of tips. Paul, how do we do this? I mean, they even want you to pray for them so that they can also get the anointing for first time entry. I mean, it's wonderful. Congratulations to you on that. Okay, so our time is almost up. In fact, it is actually up. But before we leave, maybe we can touch briefly in the next 3 to 5 minutes on accommodation, because I'm getting a lot of questions about accommodation. And does the university provide accommodation? How affordable is the accommodation? And then there's a final question on how many campuses do you have? Do you have just one campus? And do you provide accommodation on, if you have more than one campus, do you provide accommodation for, all the campuses that you have? All right.
Okay,
Well,
good
will you take
question.
that?
So
Yeah.
yes, so yes, we do have accommodation. So actually, we have 3 campuses in the city of Liverpool, and we provide accommodation. So 2 of them we do teaching there. So of the 3 campuses, one is fully residential, which is mainly for master students and international students, where I believe both Helen and Rahel live. And so that is
Okay.
fully residential, about 400 to
Yeah.
500 bed capacity just for Hope students. Then we have the main campus where, again, we have accommodation on the 2 main ones, but mostly for undergraduate students. To be honest, cost of living in Liverpool is very affordable. And so even campus accommodation, roughly between 400 to 500 pounds a month, that gets you the university accommodation. And that is inclusive of the bills. So water, gas, internet, electricity is all within this bill. And I think Helen mentioned earlier that we do have a campus bus that runs all 3 campuses. And so you don't pay extra to use the shuttle bus. So for instance, when I was studying for my master's in Manchester, where I lived and going to uni was about 40 minutes, and you couldn't walk, you needed a bus, and the university did not have any bus. So each week you need to buy a bus pass for about £30 to go and come. But with us at Hope, you save that cost because you use the university bus for free. So yes, we provide accommodation and we have enough for everyone, so long as you apply by 1st of August. And even worst case, if you don't want, because I've seen a few Ghanaian students who live in private accommodation in the city of Liverpool. And it's not really expensive if you compare to places like London, Birmingham, or even in Manchester. So if budget is a bit something that you are looking on and you're thinking of an affordable place, both in terms of tuition and also the living cost, then Liverpool will really be a good place to consider.
Okay. So what are we looking at in terms of accommodation? Let's say per week.
£100 a week.
About
Average.
£100.
Yes.
That's quite affordable.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really
Unless
good.
you want to go to the high end of getting the ensuite one, even that one, the maximum we have is just about 135 a week. And that goes up to roughly about £500 a month.
Okay.
So if you are okay with shared ones where you're sharing living area, kitchen, and bathroom with about 5 other students on your floor, that's just £100 a week.
Okay. Let me ask Ellen this question. Ellen, what's the general cost of living like in Liverpool? I mean, looking at the accommodation, is it the same with, food and other means of transport, entertainment? I mean, what's your take on it? What's the general cost of living like? I mean, you are on scholarship, so
I
you.
think compared to I've been to I've been to other cities like Manchester and London, and like Paul said, it's quite expensive. Like living in London and Manchester compared to Liverpool. I think that's one of the reasons why I chose Liverpool Hope University, because the cost is relatively lower. Because my colleagues in London pay like between 700 to 1,000 a month for rent, but I stay here and then I pay like £400, and Rahel lives in an NC, so she pays around £480 pounds a month. So that's relatively cheaper, like times 2, depending on where you want to stay. For like living and feeding, it depends on you. So if you're the type that likes buying and everything, obviously, like, I mean, you'd have to spend more. But if you are spending on just like buying groceries, and you can even spend less than £100 a month on like feeding and buying food and other things, yeah, and having fun
That's quite
going
affordable.
anywhere. Yeah.
That's very, very
Helen,
affordable.
tell them you've been going around having fun to Anfield
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
those
obviously.
places.
I like moving around. I like going to new places, like sit in the bus and explore, going from one place to the other, and it's not expensive, to be honest. Even if you want to go out and eat out instead of maybe cooking, which is not advisable, it's not very expensive. Because I bought shawarma in town, and that is like £3.50. But I bought same shawarma in London, and that's like £12. That's like times three or
Yeah,
four. Like,
yeah.
so Liverpool, being in Liverpool is way cheaper, to be honest. As
Sure,
someone
sure,
traveling for the first
sure.
time, that's me. I think that is the best decision that I ever made. Yeah.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Ellen. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, or we ran out of time. There are a lot of questions. I'm not sure we'll be able to answer all those questions. Somebody's asking about whether you can work and study at the same time. Yes, you can, but there are work limitations. Paul, correct me if I'm right. The students can still do 20 hours a week. Is that it?
Yes, so 20 hours a week during term time, and then unlimited during vacation.
During vacations, okay.
Unfortunately, Rahel's mic is not working. At least she could have mentioned, because I know she's working at the moment. But yes, you can work.
Right. Thank you so much, Paul. I'm going to give you the last word for all the attendees, those who are interested, I mean, in applying. I mean, you have the last word.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you so much, Rahel, Alice, for taking time to join me today. For me, it is my work. For you, it is your private time. So joining me here is really, really appreciated. Thank you. Joseph and everyone, I mean, I would want to encourage that getting the opportunity to study, to add to your career, to build knowledge and skills is very important. I took that step many years ago, similarly to what Helen and Rahel are doing. And today I lead recruitment in a British public university. And so it has opportunities that is open to everyone. We do have programs that are career oriented, and we do have, like they mentioned earlier, support systems that are there to help you. What I want to say is that please do your research, see what we have available, see how it helps with your future prospects. Make sure you have the background, you are well prepared. Because sometimes some people think that studying abroad is easy because there are computers, there are this, there's AI, there's that. I believe if we were to give the chance for Helen and Rahel to share their experience academic wise, you would appreciate that sometimes you learn 5, 10 times more in the UK like than you would do in Ghana,
Yeah.
because it is very intense and it is really, really draining. But that is what builds you up for that career in the future that you want. So it is a great opportunity. Do your research. Make sure that at the end of the day, you are well prepared with your documents, you have the finances. Do things the genuine way. So that's why we are happy to work with people like Excel Plus, who we know are trusted people that can at least check things and give you the right advice. Because one thing that we are seeing is that Ghana is gaining notoriety in terms of fraud when it comes to visas and qualifications. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's quite embarrassing when some of these things come to people like myself, because you've been through the country, you've been through the system, you know how good we are as Ghanaians. But sometimes you get a few bad people who are just pulling scholarship letters and um, university certificates here and there, which are just not genuine. I would say, please work with trusted people like Joe and his team, and don't fall victim to these sort of things, because we see them, we spot them, and we know them. Because sometimes people are bringing sponsorship letters from places that I know. And so I get other colleagues, even from other universities, coming around and saying, we've seen this. Is it okay? And like, don't worry. I know the place. I know the people. These people can't give full scholarships. But yet others are carrying letters on the. Please, please, please don't fall victim to some of these schemes. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your future. Get genuine things. Come in when you are ready. come and have the opportunity and the experience, because it opens global opportunities, whether in the UK or anywhere else in the world. I have friends and colleagues that I studied with 10 years ago, whom I'm still in contact with today, all because of that opportunity I had. And so that is something good that builds your future. Work with trusted people like Excel Plus. Get your dreams come true. We will be here to help you. Like my colleagues mentioned earlier, any support you need from this time of applying all the way to get into the UK, you'll get the support. And I believe it will be something that will be helpful for your journey. So if you're thinking of your study future, think of Liverpool Hope. And then with Excel Plus, I think we can get you there. So hopefully in September, I look forward to seeing some of you in Liverpool. And don't worry, come and see me. I'll get Helen, I'll get Rahel and all the other Ghanaians so they can get you some local food and we can have some nice time here. So thank you, Joe, and thank you.
All right, Paul. Thank you so much. So for all who are interested in applying, I'm going to mention our WhatsApp number. You can also reach us via email at info@excelplusonline.com, info@excelplusonline.com, or you can equally reach us via WhatsApp. Most often we don't want the calls because there are too many calls that come in and it's difficult attending to each and every one. But when you send in your WhatsApp messages or you hit us up on WhatsApp or via email, we'll be able to, attend to your message and answer your questions. If there are any more questions you have, you can just drop it on WhatsApp and then we'll be more than happy, to respond. If it's directly to Paul, I'll chase him up and let him answer, and then I'll come back and answer. And make sure that you get the answer that you are looking for. So if Justina can drop the WhatsApp line in the chat room, then you can just take our WhatsApp number, send us a WhatsApp, send us an email. And if you are interested in applying this September, we'll be more than happy to guide and advise you through the process. And the interesting thing is that we don't charge for any of our services. Our services are absolutely free. So free consultation, no consultation fee. Just come, let's advise you, let's guide you so that you don't make the mistakes that a lot of people, do when they are going through such processes. We make the process very easy for you. We've been on this journey for close to 7 years, so we know what we are about. And Excel is an ISEF accredited agency, and all our counselors have British Council agency training. So we know what we are doing. Are you with me? We know what we are doing. So Paul, thank you so much. We'll bring the conversation to an end here, but we are not ending the conversation for all the attendees who joined in today. There will be subsequent discussions. I mean, we are looking at having webinars or sessions just to discuss visa processing, just to discuss how to write your SOP so that it doesn't get rejected. So there are a lot of webinars that will be coming. So look out for our space on our social media handles. You can check out our website and we'll put a lot of information there so you can join in and just listen in and getting a lot of information, first-hand information from the university reps themselves. This Paul is a senior international recruitment officer, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and I'm sure that definitely this September we'll be able to get some students to Liverpool Hope University. Thank you so much, Paul, for making time today for us to discuss. I'm sure that before September we'll have another one to see, how many have applied and how you can address their concerns for them,
Okay.
Specifically. Thank you so
That
much.
is
Thank
fine.
you,
I'll be
Ellen.
happy to have any follow-up sessions on that.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ellen. And then thank you, Rachel. I don't know what happened to your microphone, but thank you so much for making time to be part of this session. And for all who joined in, we'll be sending you, updates and information about upcoming webinars and events. And we know that you definitely join in to learn more as we help one another in the space. Thank you. And we'll see you all in our next session. All right.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Ellen.